reject what he said. And the verse says, "Well, and the breastplate should not move. We don't make him move off of his words." The version that said that we don't make the Torah scholar, we don't reject this Torah scholar, we don't desert this Torah scholar. The verse says, "Ki lo yiznach lo olam Hashem," God will not desert forever. And the version that said we don't tell the Torah scholar it's just out of arrogance, it's not. I don't know that zchuchi is arrogance, as we went to the Mishnah. Yeshirabu zchuchi alev, when there were a lot of arrogant people, Rabbi Machlokas b'Yisrael, there were a lot of fights amongst the Jews. This one thought he's right, that one thought he's right. They ended up in lots of fights.
So the newer generation could change what the earlier generation.
I wouldn't say to change. Well, they're changing what's being done, but they have a new insight. Just because there's a new insight doesn't mean it's necessarily wrong. You have to examine. Maybe it is right. Your Rebbe examined and he thought it was right.
Slippery slope.
Ask if La Yehuda read Rav Shimon Paz. Well, we're talking about Isra Rabbanan here. That's the important point to mention. Yehuda, the son of Rav Shimon Paz, he challenged this. How could Rebbe accept this testimony of Rebbe Meir? Does anyone not think that Beit Shan is the land of Israel? Beit Shan is the land of Israel. If it's the land of Israel, then you have to separate the tithes before you eat the vegetables. What doesn't the verse say? Menashe did not settle and did not conquer Beit Shan and her suburbs. He didn't conquer Tanakh and its suburbs. My answers this question, Ishtamikte, was from Yehuda, the son of Rabbi Shimon Pazi. What's missing from him is how the Rabbi Shimon ben Eliakim is Shimon ben Elazar ben Pedat. The lesson that Rabbi Shimon ben Eliakim taught in the name of Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar ben Pedat. Shami Shimon ben Elazar ben Shamoah, who taught in the name of Rabbi Elazar, the son of Shamoah. What did they teach? They taught the following: Harbe Krachim Kavshim Oli Mitzrayim. There were many cities that were conquered initially. When the Jews first came out of Egypt and entered the land with Yoshua ben Nun, they conquered a lot of land. When all the land they conquered, they made holy with the holiness of Eretz Yisrael. And then all of the holiness of Eretz Yisrael was removed. As the Babylonians conquered the land away from the Jews. Then the holiness of the land of Israel was brought back by Ezra when he came back to build the second temple. He did not reconsecrate all the areas that had been conquered initially. He left certain areas unholy. Jews were living there, Jews were planting there, but they did not have the holiness of the land of Israel. Now, why did he do that? Because if a place is holy with the land of Israel, then there's the law of Shemitah. In the 7th year, nobody can plant, and everything has to be made ownerless. There are lots of poor people that are very dependent on people planting, because they need to eat payah, they need to eat the corner of the field that's left for them, they need to eat from the leket, the dropped gleanings, they need to eat from the shikha, from the forgotten bundles. So there are a lot of poor people that have lots of requirements. They need people to be farming in the land. They need to be eating from what the land produces. So that's why when Ezra came and he re-established the Jewish settlement in Israel, he did not reconsecrate everything. He left certain areas unholy, so that in those areas people would keep farming in the 7th year. And when they keep farming in the 7th year, because it doesn't have the holiness of Israel, it doesn't have the status of Shemitah, poor people could go to those places and they could get leket, shikha, and payah. They could get the gleanings and the dropped things, the forgotten things, and the corners. That's what we said here. Shimon Eliakim said the name of Elazar ben Pedas, and said the name of Elazar ben Shamuah. Harbe Krachim Kivshim Oli Mitzrayim. Many cities that were conquered by the Jews who came out of Egypt. Then when the Jews came back from Bavel, they were not reconsecrated. And the reason why? Because the initial consecration of Yoshua was lost when Nebuchadnezzar conquered it. So the initial consecration was not an eternal consecration. It was only till Nebuchadnezzar came. Then there was a need for a second consecration. So those who came from Bavel did not consecrate it. They left it unconsecrated. In the 7th year, the poor people would be able to have something to rely on. They would have things being planted, wheat, vegetables, and they would get the corners, they would get the dropped, they would get the forgotten. So that's what's going on here. Rabbi Meir holds, yes, Beit Shan originally was Israel. In the times of Menashe, when the tribes were coming in, Beit Shan was Israel. But Meir's point is that it was not Israel the second time around. It was not Israel in the times of Olei Bavel, in the times of Ezra. That's why in the times of the Second Temple, in the days of Rabbi Meir, he was eating in Beit Sha'an without taking meiser from the vegetables. Yeah, question.
If the conquest is what creates the Kedusha, now it's not inherent to the land, how come today we have to be concerned of Meiser and Truma, all those things? Like all these issues of the land, if it's the conquest.
So it's a good question. So as is explained in the Rishonim on this sugya, the initial sanctification was the conquest. Then when Nebuchadnezzar came, he removed that conquest. The Rambam explains, in the days of Ezra, we didn't conquer the land of Israel, because we were under the Persians. We were just given permission by the Persians to come to the land. What reconsecrated the land was what the Rambam calls chazakah, the fact that the Jews settled there. The Jews deliberately settled in certain areas to make it holy. And that's what the Gemara is saying here. There were certain areas that they did not make holy with their settlement. So it's a different type of sanctification. It was the sanctification of settlement. The Rambam says the sanctification of settlement does not lose its identity based on conquest of others. Others could conquer, and it still has the sanctification of settlement. However, it is the view of the Rambam that nowadays, in the land of Israel, all Trumot and Masrot and Shemitah, presumably Shemitah 2, he doesn't say it explicitly, but probably Shemitah 2, is only rabbinic, because the Rambam says the Torah only gives the land of Israel its full sanctity when all the Jews are there. Kol Yoshvei Allah, which means that all the Jews are there, and also the Jews know what tribe they belong to, and they're living in their ancestral plots. So that those Jews who know they're from the tribe of Benjamin are living in the Benjamin area, and those who know they're from the tribe of Judah are living in the Judah area. But since we don't have that nowadays, therefore nowadays the land of Israel only has rabbinic sanctity. Trumos, Masrot, Shemitah is only rabbinic law today in the land of Israel. So again, Kasavar, he held the initial sanctification was only for a moment and not forever. The second time they had to sanctify it again. So when they sanctified it again, they left places like Beit Sha'an, that the poor people during the 7th year will have something to eat. Rabbi Yirmiyah said to Rabbi Zera, this whole discussion seems strange to me. Rabbi Meir just ate a leaf. When you go into a field and you eat a single leaf, it's called achilas arai, temporary eating. Temporary eating, you don't need to separate shumas and maisos from it. When we go sometimes on our trips to Eretz Yisrael, we take groups, there's something called leket, where they pick fruit in the field for the poor. The kids are picking fruit, they want to eat an orange, they want to eat whatever, some other fruit that they pick, an apple. So they are allowed to do that even without separating shumas and maisos, because it's achilas arai, it's temporary eating. As we learned, it only becomes obligated in Shumas and Maisos from once they have the miruach, the smoothing out of the pile of the grain, once it's fully finished, with vegetables, once the vegetables are bundled, then they would be obligated in Shumas and Maisos. Here he's eating a leaf. So there's no proof that there's no obligation of Shumas and Maisos in Beit Sha'an, because Beit Sha'an was never consecrated a second time. That's not what's going on. He didn't separate the tithes because he was eating a single leaf. Amalesi said, no, that's not the story. Now, Aguda Achla, he ate the leaf after it had been bundled in a box. After it had been bundled in a bundle. It's not in the Mishnah. Yerek HaNegad, those vegetables that are normally bundled, Mishi Aged, once they're bundled, they're obligated in tithes and shumas and maisos.
It sounds like Beit Sha'an was like city of refuge for eating, Rabbi, right?
Maybe.
Yeah.
So now the Gemara asks, again, why do you have a whole proof from this story that certain places outside of the land of Israel have not been reconsecrated? Maybe Rabbi Meir just made a mistake. Maybe Beit Sha'an needs Chumas and Maisos. Rabbi Meir made a mistake. He ate a vegetable and he didn't separate Chumas and Maisos. He just did the wrong thing. And then the Gemara says this rule. Hashta now, beheptum shel tzadikim and HaKadosh Baruch Hu maybe takol al yadan. The animals of the tzaddikim, Hashem won't let them make a mistake. Hashem won't allow the animals of the tzaddikim to eat non-kosher. Tzaddikim atzman lo kol shekain. The tzaddikim themselves, is it even a question? Of course, Hashem will not allow the tzaddikim themselves to make a mistake. The Gemara says, still, the Dilma, you saw Rabbi Meir eating a vegetable. Out of this, Rabbi changed the halacha. The Dilma, but maybe Yisrael Alemi Makom Acher. Maybe there was Maaser that was that he was using somewhere else. In other words, he ate a vegetable here, and meanwhile, back in his house, he had piles of vegetables, and he was saying, the vegetables in my house are the meiser for this vegetable that I'm eating over here. So Gemara says, no, there is a prohibition, a rabbinic prohibition, to separate maaser from something which is not in front of you on behalf of something which you are currently eating. Ideally, maaser should be separated min hamukaf, things that are right next to each other. So you can say this vegetable, which is next to this vegetable is the maaser for this, but not that the vegetable somewhere else that I don't see is maaser for this. Because who knows, maybe that thing that you don't see is not there anymore. Maybe it was destroyed, maybe somebody ate it. So the pious ones, the sages, the Torah scholars are not suspected Litrov shalom and amukaf, to give maaser, to give tithes from something which is not right next to them. The Gemara says, even so, Rabbi Meir is eating a vegetable. How do you know it means that he doesn't think that there's a need for maaser and Beit Shan? Maybe he made another part of this very same vegetable, the maaser, for the part that he's eating. In his mind, the bottom of the vegetable is the maaser, and he's eating the top of the vegetable. Amalei. So he said back to him, Chazi man gavra rabba kamaser alei. He said, listen, he said, look at the big person who's testifying about it. Rabbi Yeshua ben Zaros. Rabbi Yeshua ben Zaros is telling us the story. He came to Rabbi to tell us the story that Rabbi Meir ate vegetables without maaser. You think Rabbi Yeshua ben Zaros doesn't know what's going on? You think really there was a maaser and Rabbi Yeshua ben Zaros didn't know about it? If Rabbi Yeshua ben Zaros tells us that Rabbi Meir ate without a maaser, he's such a great man, you can rely on him that that's what happened. So if that's what happened, now we have a problem. Why didn't Rabbi Meir separate maaser? All the earlier generations used to separate maaser and Beit Shan. Must be, Rabbi Meir is teaching us Beit Shan is one of those places that were not reconsecrated in the times of Ezra. And Rabbi looked into it, and Rabbi said, okay, we're going to change the halacha. Apparently it's right. We're going to change the halacha. And that's what we are going to do. Okay.
Rabbi, the farmer that, let's say the farm was too far away from the poor people to come take the corners or whatever, okay? Can he sell it to the retailer, the whole thing, and give him 10% discount, and it says,
No.
listen, 10% of this belongs to the poor people when you put it
The
in
corner
the
has to
shop?
go to the poor.
It has to be on the floor.
If he didn't do it on the floor, then when the grain that he picks, he has to separate 1/60th and give it to the poor.
And how about if it's too far for everything? It could go bad. It could
They're
go.
always poor people. The Torah says, "Kilo yachtal ev yom mikarav haaretz." It's always poor people. All right, now this amazing story. My behemtim shel tzaddikim. What's this story that we keep quoting? The animals of the tzaddikim, Hashem doesn't allow them to eat non-kosher. Answers the Gemara, was a story with the father-in-law of Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai, Rabbi Pinchas ben Yair. Rabbi Pinchas ben Yair, Rabbi Kazal Pidyon Shvuyim. Rabbi Pinchas ben Yair was going to redeem captives, to save lives, Jews who had been taken captive. Paga baby Ginai Naharai, he got to the river Ginai. Amalei, he said to the river Ginai, Ginai, listen, river Ginai, Chalokli neimecha be'ever b'cha. Split for me your waters, I need to walk through. Amalei, so the river, namely the angel of the river, said to him, you're going to do the will of your maker to save lives. I also do the will of my maker. The will of my maker is for me to flow. Now what you're doing, maybe is going to be a mitzvah, maybe not. Maybe you're going to be able to save a life, maybe not. Maybe you won't be able to redeem. I'm certainly doing what Hashem wants me to do. The river flowing is the mitzvah Hashem gave me in creation. Pinchas ben Yair said to the river, no. If you don't split willfully, I'm going to decree about you, you're never going to have water again. You're going to dry up. You won't have water. You have to listen to the tzaddikim. The tzaddikim need to walk through, the river needs to split. Halakle, the river splits. Like Kriyas Yamsuf, literally. Now, Pinchas ben Yair wasn't traveling alone. There were people with him. There was a person there carrying wheat to make matzahs for Pesach. Amalei, Sir Pinchas ben Yair said to the river, all right, split up for this guy too. Stay dry. The man carrying wheat for Pesach also has to get through on dry land. He's doing a mitzvah too. Now there was an Arab merchant who had joined them. There was an Arab merchant, an Arab caravan driver, a Bedouin, who had been joining Reb Pinchas ben Yair and the Jew carrying all the wheat for Pesach. Amar Lei, Reb Pinchas ben Yair said to the river, Chalok leinami lahai. Stay split for this one too. We don't want to chil Hashem. We don't want the Arabs, the non-Jews, to say, the Jews aren't so hospitable. People join them to walk with them. Then the Jews get special treatment, and they don't get the special treatment for those walking with them too. No! The special treatment of the river splitting is for me, is for the Jew going to make matzahs for Pesach, and it's for the Arab who joined us and who's been keeping us company for the last week walking through the wilderness. Rav Yosef said, wow, kama nafesh gavra, mi Moshe v'shitin Rabbu. Look at this man. He's more powerful than Moshe Rabbeinu and the 600,000 Jews. When it came to the splitting of the Red Sea, it only split once. But for Pinchas ben Yair, the sea split, the river splits 3 times. For him, for the Jew carrying the wheat, and for the Arab merchant. It's not such a proof. Maybe here was only that the river split once, and Pinchas ben Yair keeps telling the river, stay split. Ella. So no, the point is, you're right. Not that he's greater than Moshe. He's Kim Moshe v'shitin Ribfut. Pinchas ben Yair is as great as Moshe Rabbeinu and the 600,000 Jews. The river splits for him the same way the Yam Suf split for us. So again, Pinchas ben Yair was going in order to redeem captives. Iklar Pinchas ben Yair arrived Lahush Pisa, to a certain motel, to a place where people stayed. Ramule Sari Lachamrit. So the people in that inn, in that hotel, they put barley down in front of his donkey. The lo achil. And the donkey wouldn't eat. The donkey wouldn't eat. Haftinu. So then they sifted the barley. So take out the bran. And still lo achil. He wouldn't eat. Nakrinu. Then they cleaned the barley with their fingers. They took out the stones. Lo achil, the donkey wouldn't eat. So Amalu Pinchas ben Yair said to them, Timalo masran. Maybe you didn't take maser away from the barley. And my donkey doesn't eat. Tebel, doesn't eat tmai, doesn't eat food, it's not kosher. Asrenu, they separated maser, v'achal, then the donkey ate.
I never heard of Chacham donkey.
Now you did. The donkey of Pinchas ben Yair. Halavai, we should be like the donkey of Pinchas ben Yair. Halavai. Amar, Sir Pinchas ben Yair said to these people, Ani azu, holeches lasos etzon kohen. This poor donkey is going to fulfill the will of its maker, to do the mitzvah of Pidyon Shvuyim. And you were feeding it non-kosher, you were feeding it things that didn't have meiser separated from it. So you see that Hashem protects the donkeys of the tzaddikim, and therefore certainly Hashem protects the tzaddikim themselves. Now the Gemara says, this is a strange story. Do you have to separate Trumas and Maisros from grain that you buy from a Amma Aretz to feed a donkey? But now we looked at a Mishnah into my Halokeach, if a person buys grain from an Amma Aretz, Lizera, in order to plant the grain, or Lebehema to feed an animal, or Kemach, or flour, Laoros, in order to work skins, or Shemin, he buys oil and air to light a candle, or Shemin Lasavois HaKelim, or he buys oil to smear utensils. Pater me'ad D'mai, it's exempt from D'mai. When it says Hasam, no, but about that Mishnah, we learned about it. And Rabbi Yochanan said, Lo Shana, that's only true. If you buy originally the grain initially from the Amaretz for an animal, but if the grain was initially bought for people, then you decide to change your mind and use it for an animal. You still have to separate Trumas and Maisros. By the time is in the Brisa, if somebody buys wheat from a market for eating, then he decides to use it for an animal. He can't put it in front of his animal. He can't put it in front of his friend's animal. Unless he first separates the Trumas and Maisros. And that's what happened here in this inn. They had bought the grain from Amaratzin for people. Then when Pinchas ben Yair showed up, they decided to feed it to the animals, the donkey of Pinchas ben Yair. So it was still obligated in Trumas and Maisros. Okay, let's go back to the story of the Pinchas ben Yair. When the Pinchas ben Yair is traveling to go do Pidyon Shvuyim to save lives, to redeem the captives, Shama Rebbe, the author of the Mishnayos, the final editor of the Mishnah, Rabbi Yehuda Nasi, heard that Pinchas ben Yair was nearby. Nafak Lape went out to greet him. Amar Le, so Rebbe asked him, Ritzoncha sodesli, do you want to eat by me? Amar Lo, so Pinchas ben Yair said, hey, yeah, I'd love to. So Tzavu Panav Shel Rebbe, Rebbe's face turned yellow with glee. He was so happy. Because Pinchas ben Yair normally would never get anything from anybody, never wanted any gifts, never would be a guest anywhere. And now, he's willing to be my guest, willing to eat from me, from Rabbi Yehuda Nasi. Amar Lo, so Pinchas ben Yair said to him, Kimeduma Hata, Shamudra Anam Yisraelani. You think that till now I made some vow that I wouldn't get any benefit from Jews, that's why I don't take any gifts. Yisrael Kedoshim Hain. Jews are holy. I'd love to get from Jews. The problem's like this. Yesh Rotz of Einel. There are those who want to give, they want to feed me, but they don't have enough for themselves. So it's not right to take from somebody who himself can't afford. The Yeshi Yeshlo, then there are those who can afford, but they don't really want to give to me. They say that they want to give to me, but they don't really want to give to me. So I don't want to take money from someone who doesn't really want to give it. I don't want to take from someone who doesn't want to host. Because then it's a form of theft. I don't want it. So that's why I'm stuck. So the verse says, Al tilcham lechem ra'ayin. Don't eat bread from the guy who has a bad eye. Al tisav lemat amosav. And don't desire his delights. Kikmo sha'ar benafsho kenu. It's as if he's opening a gate. He's going to tell you eat and drink. But his heart's not with you. His heart doesn't want you to eat and drink. But you know what? You, Rebbe, I don't have these problems. Because Rebbe was super rich. And Rebbe, I know you're sincere. You want me to have. V'hatan you, Rotza, you want to give to me. Yesh l'cha, thank God, you've got plenty of money. I'm not taking away from your family. Say, I'm happy to eat from you. I will eat from you. However, said Rav Pinchas ben Yair, I can't eat now. Now I have to refuse. Because I'm busy with the mitzvah. I have to go redeem captives. First, I need to do the mitzvah. On my way back, I can eat. When I come back, I'm going to come into you and eat from you. All right, Rav Pinchas ben Yair, on his way back. He also, when he came back, Isrami got to Rebbe's house. He came into one of the doorways of Rebbe's house that had white mules. White mules. And the Gemara says that the white mule is a very vicious creature. If it hits somebody, no doctor can heal it. So Pinchas ben Yair said, Amar, Malach HaMaves, the Vesel Shoseh, the angel of death himself is in this guy's house. You know, the same way the angel of death, when it hits somebody, that's it, the guy's done. This guy hosts Rebbe. He has white mules in his house. He's raising white mules. The white mules kill people.
So
I'm going to eat in his house. I'm not going to eat in his house. So Shama Rebbe heard that now Pinchas ben Yair is not coming to eat. He went out to try to calm him down. Amalei said to him, I'll sell them all. Amalei, so Pinchas ben Yair said, that's no good. Lift the evil, see the nishol. Hashem says, don't create a stumbling block in front of the blind. So that's no good. It's not good to have these white mules. You're going to sell them. So now other people are going to have killers in their house. So Rebbe said, okay, I'm going to take them and let them loose in some forest and make them hefker. Throw them away from people. Send them out into the wilderness. So Rebbe said, no. Pinchas ben Yair said, no, Mashat Ezekas. Now even more damage. Now there's nobody watching them to try to prevent the damage. He said, no, I'll cut off their legs. So it won't cause any damage. So Rebbe said, you can't do that. That's causing pain to an animal. So he said, all right, I'll kill them. So you see that killing them is not Tzar Balei Chaim. That's what the Noda Yehuda says in his famous response about Jews going hunting. He says, it's not Tzar Balei Chaim because you're killing the animal. Killing the animal is not Tzar Balei Chaim. Tzar Balei Chaim is torturing the animal. But to kill it is not Tzar Balei Chaim.
It's a good shot.
What's that?
You have to have a good shot to go hunting.
Good shot. It's a good shot. So Ketulalu, I'll go kill them. So he said, no, it's not Tzar Balei Chaim, but Ikam Bal Tashchis. That's just wasting. Now that it wastes things, you can't waste it. So Havakam Bevatish Beituva. So Rebbe was begging him, please come eat with me. So you know what happened? With the Pinchas ben Yair, miracles happened. Gavatura Beinayu, a mountain grew up between the two of them. To stop Rebbe from giving Rav Pinchas ben Yair a hard time, suddenly there was a mountain in between Rebbe and Rav Pinchas ben Yair. A mountain grew up. Bacha Rebbe V'amar. Rebbe started crying. He said, Ma b'chayein kach. Look at these tzaddikim. Look at the tzaddikim, Pinchas ben Yair.
This is a real mechitza, Rabbi.
It's a real mechitza, that's right.
Yeah.
The Pinchas ben Yair, look at such a tzaddik. He doesn't want to eat from people. He never eats from anyone. That's his way, that's his service. He's always independent, everything only for himself, only by himself. And I got him. He agreed to me. And yet Hashem arranges, no, he has his way is going to be kept. Of all the rooms in my house, he came into the room that saw the white mules. He had to see that. And now it's not happening. So if tzaddik in his lifetime, Hashem does everything for him what he wants. When a tzaddik dies and he doesn't have an evil urge, well, the more so Hashem does everything for him. You go to Tzfat nowadays, at the bottom of that cemetery, there's a round grave, the grave of Pinchas ben Yair. There are always people davening there because of this Gemara. Oh, the more so Hashem does everything for the tzaddikim when they pass away. So Amar Reb Chama bar Chanina said, Gedolim tzaddikim b'misas and yosmim b'chayein. The tzaddikim are greater after they lived than when they were alive. Shenamar, as the verse says about the prophet Elisha. They buried a false prophet next to him. Vayim kovim ish. They were burying this false prophet. B'nei Ros Agdud, and they saw a battalion of soldiers coming. Vayishlichu esalish b'kever Elisha. They thought they didn't have time. They threw this man into the grave of Elisha. Vayelach vayiga ish b'atzmos Elisha. The man went and he touched the bones of Elisha. Vayechi came back to life. Vayakam al-ragel, he got up on his feet. So you see, when Elisha was alive, he had to daven, and then people would come back to life. But when he's dead, he doesn't even have to daven. Just touching his remains, and people come back to life. Papa said to Abai, maybe that's not such a proof of the greatness of Elisha. Maybe the reason why that person had to come back to life is to fulfill Eliyahu's bracha. Because Eliyahu had been asked that Elisha should have double his spirit, and Eliyahu had given that bracha. Amalei, so Abai said back, if the reason why this dead prophet comes back to life was to fulfill the promise of Eliyahu, so then what are you going to do with the Brisa? The Brisa says that this dead prophet came back to life. Vayakam al-raglav. Al-raglav Amar, he stood on his feet, but he didn't go all the way back to his homes. It's not double of Eliyahu. Eliyahu, when he brought people back to life, brought them back to life fully. Ela b'mai kaim. So 1 second. So then how did, in fact, Eliyahu's bracha of Elisha having double his power come true? It came true in the following way. Number one, that he brought back to life the child of Isha Shunamis. And number two, Kedam Rabbi Yochanan, as Rabbi Yochanan said, Sheripa Tzaras Naaman. Elisha healed the Tzaras of Naaman. Sheishkula Kemes, because someone who has Tzaras is like someone who's dead. Shenamar, as it says, Moshe Rabbeinu said about Miriam, Al Nati Kemes, she shouldn't be like a dead person. All right, another story. Rabbi Shmuel Levi said, Lama Nikra Shman Yemim. Why are the mules called Yemim? Shemimasim would tell us Brios. It's from the word Ema. People are afraid of them. Rabbi Chanina said, Rabbi Chanina was a doctor. He said, no one ever asked me about how to heal a wound from a white mule and was able to live, because I was not able to heal it ever. 1 second, we see people that are hit by white mules when they do live. The answer is the chayas. The wound itself never heals. Yeah, the person lives, but not the wound. But we do see people getting better from those wounds. So my answer is, we're talking about those white mules that the head of their feet are totally white, and those when they hit, mamish, literally, no one can survive it. It cannot heal. All right, a very important lesson from Chanina. The verse says, Ein od milvado, there's nothing but Hashem. Rabbi Chanina said, Afilu kshafim, even magic can't go against the will of Hashem. If it works, it's because Hashem wants it to work. Hayitza, there was this lady. She wanted to take dirt from under the feet of Reb Chanina in order to put some spell on Reb Chanina that he should die. He said to her, Shkuli, go take whatever dirt you want. What you're trying to do is not going to work, because there's nothing but Hashem. Only what Hashem wants. Hashem wants me to live, I'm going to live. I don't care about your magic. Reb Yochanan said, why are they called magic? Shafim. Because it stands for the two words, Kash, Shemakishim, Palmalia, Shomala. They can sort of weaken the heavenly hosts. The Gemara says, no. Shiner Reb Chanina, the Nafish say, Reb Chanina was different, he had a lot of merits. If he has a lot of merits, there's nothing other than Hashem. Only when Hashem wants, the magic cannot harm him. As Rabbi said, the milk of etzbo milmata, person can't lift a finger below unless they denounce in heaven that they should do so. It says, "May Hashem mitzadei gaver konanu," from God are the steps of man. Va'adam hayavin darko. Rabbi Chananya ben Akasha ben Rosak ben Baruch Hu Zakas Yisrael. Ficha Hebel and Torah Mitzvah Shnei Rav Chavis Lamati Lo Yagdil Rav Yadir.